Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to TED Talks Ball. Big Mike here and I, he's a Browns creator. We got together last week and it went so well. We thought, hey, why don't we do this on a weekly basis? So we're going to be doing this. We're thinking Thursdays around 2 p.m. Today we had to push it to 2:30, and unfortunately I didn't update StreamYard and YouTube. So some people were here early. My apologies to everyone who's been waiting. But here we are. We had kind of a deal last week. Niners were going to beat the Bengals for the Browns, and the Browns were going to beat the Seahawks for the 49ers. Neither came true, unfortunately. Anyway, here we are. We stuck to our word, at least, to be back here together. And Mike, how are you doing today?
Fine. I'm all right. Living the beautiful nightmare that is life.
Attaboy. I love it. I'm just sort of clicking around here, retweeting stuff, getting the word out that we've started, especially for anybody who may have got here early and left. But shouldn't take too much longer. Give me your thought. I mean, obviously, it's interesting. I was at the game on Sunday, and our games were played concurrently. You guys were playing at the same time we were. You guys were in Seattle. Obviously, we were down here at Levi's and the Bears. So both teams were all four teams were on the West Coast: Browns, Seahawks, Niners, and Bengals. And I looked down at my phone and I was like, man, this game's over. But at least the Browns look like they're going to beat the Bengals. They're up 20-17 with 2 minutes to go. What happened? I mean, feel free to start earlier if you want to give me the whole game recap or just the end or however you want to do it.
Well, I mean, you had to look at it. It was the defense is the opposite of what college is. In college, most offenses start slow and they get going eventually. It's like our defense started slow and let them get a couple good runs in, score a couple touchdowns, and then, now we found our rhythm. Defense kicked in. The run game kicked in. We seem to know how we're going to get them now. 2 minutes left in the game. We decided to pull a Pete Carroll. We literally did a Pete Carroll that he did in the Super Bowl and said, you know what? We're not going to run the ball. We're averaging 4 yards a carry. We're not going to do that. We're going to throw the ball and hope to God we do something. And Jamal Adams pulled a Lionel Messi, headbutted that ball about 100 feet in the air, and it just happened to come down in Tyreek Woolen's hands, and that was the game. The most Cleveland thing ever.
Oh my God! So it was dramatic. I was wondering how it went so wrong so fast, and that explains it. Oh man, Jamal Adams, quite a player. I always felt like he was a bit of an overspend for them, but maybe that's starting to pay off. Tyreek Woolen, obviously, great player last year. Arguably could have been defensive rookie of the year over Sauce Gardner. Didn't probably have the same cachet. We got Jay in the Bay in the house. We've got James Durnall in the house from across the pond, Red Jet Shell, Danielle Thompson.
Going on, y'all?
Some good turnout here. I'm just trying to keep up. We are streaming to both channels, so I will try to play, at least show all the chats, at least briefly, even if I don't get a chance to respond to all of them. Jay has his own podcast as well, too. So make sure you check him out. He's there with Eric Price and Rich Keltz. Great folks, great YouTube streamers. So Jay says, Ted, we'll be back to your apology tour about Brock. We take back. A lot of people want me to take it back because I feel like I jinxed him when I jumped on board the Brock train. I sort of have, Jay. I mean, at my peak after the Cowboys game, I had him in that 6 to 9 range. After the Browns game, I moved him back to 8 to 12. After the Vikings, I was going to move him to 11 to 15. But the 2 interceptions came after the concussion, so couldn't really do that. But yeah, after this Bengals game, I've got him back to 11 to 15. And if he plays another poor game, I'll be ready to put him right back at mid, which is where we started in the offseason when I got into all that trouble. That 14 to 18 range, or 16 being right in the middle of that. So I kind of have taken it back some, Jay, not completely, because I was slow to crown him, if you'll remember, and so I'm going to be slow to knock him off the pedestal as well too. But getting closer, ready to say completely take it back, and especially when it's like wet conditions, or we need him to come through in the clutch. Seems like two situations where Brock Purdy maybe doesn't seem to excel too much. We'll see. What do you think about that, Mike?
I don't think you guys should have started him. I can't believe they pushed that. They pushed him in there, and he became cleared. What, Saturday? Was it Saturday or Friday?
Yeah.
I would not have pushed it. Like, why push that? I mean, you lost anyways. If you would have won, then all right, everyone's like, oh yeah, cool, we did it. I would not have pushed it. Let Sam Darnold go out there, do your thing. Let him get the bye week. Because again, we were talking how we don't think he's 100% yet from his original injury and the concussion. Whether or not you're cleared or not, you still got some bells being rung a little bit up there. You know, I don't know. I wasn't a fan of pushing it.
No, me neither. In fact, I wrote an article that said as much. I said basically, would you balk if Kyle decided to sit Brock? And my thing was, no, I wouldn't balk. I mean, even though I was going to the game, and I'd much rather watch Brock Purdy play than Sam Darnold play. I think I made that pretty clear last week, and I've made that clear throughout time. But, ultimately, it's sort of like I'd rather lose the battle to win the war. And sure enough, Brock fell back and hit his head on the turf pretty hard on that the play where he threw what would have been his third interception, but it got called back on a penalty. And then the next play, Hendrickson came around the right edge, or I guess the left edge of our line, the right edge of the defense, and stripped the ball. And so Purdy had kind of almost like back-to-back. He actually kind of almost had two back-to-back turnovers where he threw two interceptions back-to-back, and he threw an interception, fumbled, lost back-to-back. It's just that the interception didn't count because the third interception didn't count because of the penalty. So
see that's how you know he's not right now. He was known for not turning the ball over. His IQ, everything about his mind, his IQ, his football IQ. He didn't put himself in a position to throw bad passes or force anything. And lately, that's what he's been doing. And it's just he needs to refocus, sit down, settle down, stem it down, and relax and get it back together.
Let's not start this apology stuff again. No, I mean, we're talking about rescinding the apology is what we're talking about. But yeah, I'm trying, like I said, not to be knee-jerk in one direction nor the other. But we'll see Bryant Culp in the house. He was saying that Pete Carroll used to be a UOP coach. Bryant lives in Stockton, so he's very familiar with UOP, which is there in Stockton, California as well, too. He said, glad you're back to streaming with Ted. Thanks. Appreciate that, Brian. Mike, yeah, we had a great show last week, and somebody said, can we make this a weekly thing? And we're kind of like, yeah, why not? Let's give it a try. We'll see what happens. James Renal says Lionel Messi, I'd agree. Robert Lewandowski, nobody heads the ball better.
I mean,
we got a soccer debate here, folks.
It was the craziest thing seeing is it was literally Jamal Adams literally used his head.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That's wild. And it's a little easier when you have a helmet protecting your head too than doing it in soccer where you're exposed with no protection. Ted penned a whole poem. LOL, such a good sport. Yeah, I mean, in my poem, I did say something along the lines of like, it's just week 4 through week 4, and we haven't played any contenders and maybe all playoff pretenders, because I still think the Rams are playoff pretenders, and even maybe the Steelers. They got up to 4-2, but now they're back to 4-3. I just don't. Their offense is so anemic. I don't know. Maybe getting Cam Hayward back will help them. We'll see, but I don't think. I mean, they're in such a tough division with you guys, with the Browns, with the Ravens. It's a brutal division, no doubt about it, and obviously the Bengals. I mean, my gosh. And Joe Burrow really showed why he is an elite quarterback. I don't know if you were aware of over the summer, but Kyle Shanahan said that Brock Purdy was the real deal over the summer, and I never liked that. And after the game, I tweeted out, I said, Joe Burrow is the real deal, and that's why I picked that game, was like to go to, as I wanted to see a real live elite quarterback in person. It's been a while for me, and so and I knew there was a good chance we might lose, but I did. And in my article, saying why we shouldn't play Purdy, like you said, I thought that 6 days wasn't enough time. Whereas you rest in one game, then you get 2 extra more weeks of rest. Also, there was talk after the Vikings game that, maybe his arm strength wasn't 100%. So another extra week for his arm to heal up and get stronger. And then also, if I wasn't sure if Trent Williams would play or not, but I said, if Trent doesn't play, that's just one more reason not to play Brock Purdy. And sure enough, he was running for his life most of the game. So yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Hey, we could probably work something out, Danny. I have a million hats.
Nice. Yeah, I for the longest time streamed only in this this white visor that has some red stitching on it, and that's what I started out with. And then my wife got me a black one that has an American flag on one side, and it's got the camo underneath here for the military stuff. And for the longest time, I only had those two, and then I was complaining about never being able to find visors, and a guy who I stream with, Lee Gallen from the 49ers Faithful UK, sent me a link for a cool 49ers saloon font one, what we put in our end zones back in the day and more recently. And then it's sort of grown from there. And then I found some on eBay like this one and a couple others. And but anytime, if you guys ever see a cool Niners visor, send me the link. I'll do my best to acquire it. Always on the lookout for. I'm more of a visor guy because when I wear hats, my head's already so tall, and you add a couple more inches, it's like it starts getting into that Abe Lincoln effect. It's just a little too tall.
Top hat.
Not in a good way, like Too Tall Jones, but in an awkward, uncomfortable way. Let's see here. Purdy went from being perfect temporary employee to being caught like a deer in the headlights. Oh, well, seriously. Can all be changed. Yeah, I mean, I think the truth lies, as it usually does, somewhere in the middle. I think he's been in some tough positions. I think the run game has been weak. The defense, has been playing too much off ball, not taking advantage of our pass rush. And then what do? We go and add to the pass rush and not get a corner. What did you think of that move, Mike? Picking up Chase Young.
Genius. And it's not even the fact that you brought him in. That wasn't the genius part. The genius part is it's a 1-year rental, but what you got, if certain things happen, you could still recoup the third back or a fourth. So it's like you didn't lose anything if it doesn't go your way. You didn't lose at all. That's the genius part that John Lynch did there. Like, that was huge for me. Chase, I think adding him, put him on the other side of his best friend in college, his little brother, pretty much, dude, that's huge. Because now Chase, I think he thought he had to do it all himself. He put it all on his shoulders in Washington. He thought, if I don't do it, no one's going to do it. He knows what Nick can do. He trusts Nick, so he doesn't even worry about it. He can do what he needs to do. It frees him up a lot, and I think that makes your line ridiculous.
Just got to get some coverage back behind it, start playing a little more on ball, not such soft, almost prevent type defenses that Wilks has been playing. We saw it a little bit in the second half of the Bengals game. We tightened it up, and the D played a little bit better. But really the only stops were when Eric Armstead got the sacks. There really wasn't much that was coverage-based, you would say. I mean, Burrow was like 28 for 32, 3 TDs, and I forget how many ungodly yards, but he was incredible and showed why he's elite. Brian Culp saying agreed 100%. Wanted to see Sam Marriott. No, Brian, I said I didn't want to see Sam Marriott.
I think he's talking about what I was saying. I'm
so excited about seeing Sam Darnold. No, Brian, no, we don't want to see him. But there's a chance we might. I mean, it's you got to wonder how many more of these 2 interception games you can allow before you kind of have to see Sam Darnold at some point.
I don't think you can do it. I don't think you don't take Brock out unless he's hurt. You can't change that up. You got to let him go through this rough patch because I know damn well true football fans know dude's not going to stay perfect. He's not going to not have interceptions. 12-0 was great. That was crazy. It's just not going to continue. Everybody has to know that. Like, every quarterback goes through it. I mean, Peyton Manning threw 20-plus interceptions in his first year. Brett Favre threw multiple game interceptions all his career, but still was the gunslinger. I mean, that's what you get when you get a good quarterback. But Brock's probably getting into it a little more. He's getting a little frustrated, a little unfocused. And again, now people got more tape on him. So you got to think about that. Now they're starting to look at him more, see his tells and stuff. And he's just going to have to change things up a little bit. And that's it. I mean, it's not something that that's it. We're putting a fork in it. We're done.
Well,
don't do that.
Or just get Trent Williams and Debo back. Debo says he told Kay Adams today that he's ready to go. I'm sure Trent Williams must be at this point too. So I'm sure that'll help to have the full contingent of the Avengers, as somebody liked to say that he needed the Avengers to be good. I think it was Nick Wright who said that. I don't know. Somebody like that.
Nick Trash. Yeah.
Nick James Bernal was saying Chase with injury troubles, Montez Sweat. They both left. Hope we got the right one.
You did.
A lot of us wanted Montez because he's more of a speed rusher and obviously doesn't have the ACL, but he was more expensive from a trade draft capital perspective. And then also we got Chase Young for just like $560K or $660K, under $700K for the 2023 season. So very little draft capital and very little cap hit, which is nice.
But see, again, it's what the back end of that deal is. You could get a third or a fourth back. That's the craziest part of that deal to me.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, you can recoup that back. But again, people are saying Montez, Sweat, or Chase. All right, Montez is that speed rush coming up the middle, doing his thing. But I still think Chase is going to be the better bet for you guys. The injuries, but again, that was more him putting it on himself, forcing himself to do things that he didn't have. I mean, look at it. Ohio State, he really didn't get injured. He got injured like once, missed a couple games, but he didn't put it all on him. He was able to play free. Now he's going to be able to do that again. And it's like Zadarius Smith and Myles Garrett. They just play and do everything. They're out there doing stupid stuff, just playing defense, and they're killing people.
Yeah. Arguably the best pair of edges in the league. You could say, like you said, Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith might be one pair that's the best. A lot of people say TJ Watt and Highsmith in Pittsburgh. They could be the best. I would even throw in Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence as another, group. And then obviously Bosa and Chase Young probably have to be in that same conversation.
Besides Garrett and Smith, I like Bosa and Young. I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of fireworks, and this is going to be nuts to see. I'm glad we already played y'all. I mean, if we play you guys again, it'll be in the Super Bowl. If, God, we make that far. And I'm going to have to see it then. But then it'll be the two of the best duos ever to smash each other on the defensive side. And it'll be crazy.
There you go. It would be a hell of a rematch, no doubt about it. Chat's just making some jokes. You have a 23-year-old trying to do too much. It ain't his own responsibility, but he wants all of it. No, there's definitely – you kind of mentioned something like that earlier, Randy, and I agree. He's just trying to do too much. And that's where he's gotten into trouble at Iowa State and now here in the pros. So let's, but this isn't just a Brock Purdy thing either. This is a 49ers thing that we're kind of a front running team where we're good with the lead, but when it's time to play catch up, we don't have a good drop back passing game in general. We never have under Kyle here in San Francisco. And so it's not realistic for any quarterback that we've had so far, at least, to be put far behind in the fourth quarter. It's going to be a tough sledding for whoever it is. Brock Purdy, Jimmy G, Trey Lance, you name it. We've seen a lot of people try and fail.
And my problem is it's still not a lot of Kittle. Use that man, dude. Big body, sure-handed. Use it just to move the markers if that's the case. He's not going to always be a home run hitter, but man, if you use him more, especially with Debo out, I think it changes a lot. For the Browns, it's the opposite. PJ Walker just threw nonstop to Njoku and wouldn't throw it to Cooper one game. I mean, that blew my mind. I was like, what the hell's going on here? Your best receiver don't get the ball till the second half? I don't know. But I'm just telling you, I think Kittle's a huge component, and it's like they forget about him. Since Debo's been gone, they haven't really used him like that, and that's crazy to me.
Yeah, he did get some touches, some catches against the Bengals, but it was not enough to help us to win, unfortunately. But at least we started to see him reemerge a little bit there. And, you know, at the trade deadline, a lot of us wanted a cornerback. We wanted either a nickel to replace Isaiah Oliver or a boundary corner to not so much replace Lenore as let Lenore slide to nickel and replace Isaiah Oliver. He is persona non grata here in San Francisco. But, you know, barring a corner, you know, we wanted some help for our O-line, either right guard and or right tackle. Mm-hmm. Really tough to get good guards or tackles in the in the trade market mid-season. So that was somewhat unrealistic. But I thought maybe what we could do is get another tight end like Kittle who can block and catch, because Dwelley can only catch and Warner can only block. And so either one, when they come in, they telegraph the play. If Dwelley's in, you know it's a pass, and if Warner's in, you know it's a run. And it even happened on in the Bengals game. I saw Warner come in, I'm like, oh, here we go, we're running it, and sure enough, we did. So that's not good when you give away your play call. If Trent Williams isn't tipping with his foot alignment, then we're tipping with our personnel that come in and out of the game. So.
You know what? I really felt I thought they were going to do something. I mean, Hayden Hurst would have been a huge move for that tight end move you're talking about. Do you want to?
I really like Hayden Hurst.
Big body, can pass block and catch the ball, because he did amazingly with Cincinnati. I mean, he was amazing. He was good reason why they were playing the way they were playing. Yeah. And I also thought maybe you guys might call Cincy about T. Higgins a little bit. Like, hey, all right, you know. I thought maybe that move might have been made. I really thought T was going to get moved regardless of the fact where he went, but I thought that could have been a good fit for San Fran, because, again, you got Debo, the speed man, doing this thing. You got Ayuk, but then you don't have that big body sure-hander, and that's what
we need a big body receiver. Yep. It was Chris Conley was the one who I thought would be that, but he ended up on the practice squad, and we've elevated him a few times, but we haven't really used him at all. Randy Tonis and Mahomes doesn't have a wide receiver. It's killing him. Well, they did get Mecole Hardman back, but he's not like a wide receiver one or anything like that.
Listen,
he's a nice ancillary piece.
That's a shit show out there in KC right now. You literally, everybody watched Denver smoke them and saw it. If you watch that game, every NFL team watch it, you know how to beat Mahomes now. Somehow make sure Taylor Swift ain't there, because Kelsey ain't going to do shit now. And they don't have no receivers. So what do? Rush the QB and load that box up and make Mahomes scramble and run for dear life all game long. I can't believe they didn't make a move for a receiver. Like, that blew my mind. But, you know, this whole mid-season trade thing, it's relatively starting new. It's starting to build steam. Usually it's a month after the season ends, everybody's trading. Everybody's moving. Stuff's happening. This mid-season stuff is, you don't get a lot of big stuff yet, but I really thought there was going to be a splash. The biggest splash was you guys and Byard going to the Eagles.
Byard's huge. I would say, you know, the Seahawks trading for Leonard
that
Williams is pretty big, but it's compounded by the fact that they also signed Frank Clark off the street. So that combination going to Seattle is big. And then Byard to the usually a safety wouldn't be as big of a splash as a defensive end, but Byard is so good. And the Eagles needed it so much.
And added to it, that was the piece we were missing.
Yeah, compared to us, like, how much do we need more pass rush? I don't know. I think we need more coverage. And James Renall says it here, seem to have their heart set on Womack. We also have Darrell Luter might be coming back off PUP, but like, he's barely played since he's been out with the bone bruise since OTAs, camp, preseason, everything. So it'll probably take a lot of practice before we see Darrell Luter on the field, but it is a possibility. We'll see. And then, you know, another thing I was hoping maybe for, if we didn't get a tight end and we didn't get a corner to go with the defensive end, was actually maybe a running back. Because we got CMC, we've got Mason, who we like. Elijah Mitchell never stays healthy, and so far, even now that he's been healthy, he hasn't looked right. I think he will. I don't think he's had enough injuries to be like hobbled by it, but mostly just MCLs. But until he is right, and then like we've got TDP, Ty Davis Price, but we just haven't seen any of him. So I'd love a real fourth running back for us.
You know what's crazy? I love Elijah Mitchell. I thought he was going to be an amazing complimentary back to CMC. I thought that was going to be huge for you guys. I mean, I had him last season on fantasy. I thought he did good work. I'm like, dude, this is going to be something out there. And then all of a sudden, disappeared, hurt, not playing, not giving him the snaps, and it was just crazy. And here, let me talk a little shit about my fan base real quick, if I can, because these Browns fans, these fanatics, like half of them are a step away from lunatics because they don't really know football or the game besides what they see happen on the field. Right. Everybody went crazy. Oh, we traded Donovan Peoples-Jones for a 6th rounder. We should have gotten more. Why'd we do that? And then we didn't go get nobody to replace him. Do you guys not remember the draft? We drafted Cedric Tillman in the 3rd round. That's who's replacing him. Peoples-Jones played 83% of the snaps. We barely fed him the ball. So we trade him, get a 6th-round pick that we'll use in a trade, put in the young buck, and if we would have kept Peoples, we were going to have to pay him $8 to $12 million a season after this. So we saved money, brought the rookie up, let him play and get experience, and that's what happens. Everybody's going ballistic about this, and it's blowing my mind how people don't really know football or the sport and just make all these videos talking shit, dogging the whole thing.
It's wild for sure. There's a lot of casuals out there. There's a lot of people who don't watch. I'm pretty convinced, Mike, or if they do watch, they don't understand what they're watching, or they just listen to one person and whatever they say, that's their opinion. I think it's good to watch film and to listen to a lot of different smart people, because even some of the smartest people tend to be biased. And so you got to account for that too. Or like in our case, in our fan base, there's Grant Cohn, who's kind of a hater, and there's David Lombardi, who's kind of a homer. And so you kind of have to like watch them both. It's kind of like CNN and Fox News. And you got to like watch them both and draw this imaginary line down the middle of where you think the truth probably is, based on those two opinions. But, all entertaining, all great content creators and good stuff. But it is amazing how many people just purely go off of like QB wins. Well, Brock must be great, dude. He won. All he did was one. All Jimmy did was one. Well, go ahead. Jimmy just got benched. Jimmy just got Josh McDaniels fired and their GM fired after 9 games. They had 5 years left on their contract. Thank you, Jimmy. Good job, Jimmy Wins.
Hey, let's give it to him. I'm going to applaud the shit out of this, because Josh McDaniels needed to hell be gone. Ziegler needed to be gone. Lombardi needed to be gone. And now that they're gone, they brought up who? Antonio Pierce.
Wasn't he an old D lineman for the Giants?
Linebacker. And we talk about this boy was a monster. And he is one of those, I'm going to smash mouth football type guys. He grew up in that era out there with the Raiders, old school Oakland hats, Eazy-E, NWA style. Hey, these boys were killing people back then. Nice. This guy's going to bring a tenacity to that team. He's going to just light a fire underneath everybody's ass. And you ain't going to see Devontae Adams out there wide open 80 yards down the field anymore, because he's going to have the ball in his hand and he's going to be in the end zone, because he's literally going to tell you. Already saw what they did. Bench Jimmy. They're putting in Conley, and they're going to say, hey, you do what needs to be done. And I love Pierce. They better keep him. They better name him the head coach, because I think he's going to do great things for the Raiders organization. Even though they're talking this, oh, well, Harbaugh is going to leave Michigan, go to the Raiders after his cheating shit, and then he's going to draft JJ. I swear to God, if they let Harbaugh go to Oakland, it's going to be straight trash all over again.
Then I saw something where they were talking about Harbaugh going to Chicago or something. Someone was saying, and then someone was saying that he needs to go to the AFC North somehow. I don't know who that would be in the AFC North, so that he could coach against Jim Harbaugh at the Ravens. I don't even know what the heck.
There's only one spot in the AFC North going to be open if shit doesn't get turned around right, and that's going to be coming to Cleveland because Stefanski will be gone. And what, he come here? I'm not happy about that. I don't want to see
You don't
that.
like Harbs?
It's not that I love how I know he can coach. The man's got an IQ. I know he can coach.
Yeah.
I just don't like all this shit that's going to follow him now for the rest of his career. This whole putting guys on other teams' sidelines wearing hats and Ray-Ban glasses that are videotaping shit and all this cheating crap that's going on and stealing signs. Even though in college there's no rule that says you're not allowed to do these things. It's just unwritten and it's unethical. But still, come on, man. I just don't want to deal with that. I just don't.
I hear you. He was good for us. You know, the problem is that he and Trent Baalke didn't get along, and there was a power struggle, and Jed York, our owner, sided with Trent Baalke, and then Trent decided to draft like every ACL draft pick coming out of college, and the team fell apart. Some people say that Colin Kaepernick got figured out, and I'm sure there's part of that people learned to spy him, but I think part of it was that the team just fell apart around Kaepernick too. If you look at the team in 2011 and 2012 that had been built mostly by Scott McCloughan, our previous GM, who then, and this is how good that guy is, right? The guy who built the core that Harbaugh took over here with and went to 3 NFC championships and the Super Bowl in 3 straight years. He was that GM was so good, Scott McCloughan, that he went to Seattle and he helped them build the Legion of Boom as well, right after being here. So put together a killer defense for the Niners and then a historic defense for the Seattle Seahawks. And then he ran into problems with substance abuse and whatnot, alcoholism. But bottom line is, and I guess Baalke's doing good things now because the Jags are doing well, or maybe it's despite him. I don't know. Or maybe it's having back-to-back number 1 overall picks, which has never happened before, the way the Jags have done that. But I'll tell you, I'm sweating the Jags coming out of our bye on when is it? It's the November the 12th in Jacksonville. So a week from Sunday, we play the Jags, and I'm definitely worried about that game. As much as I was about the Bengals, if not more.
Listen, and rightfully so, because you're coming southeast, travel, you're coming off a bye. Jacksonville's getting hot. They're starting to play. Sunshine's really starting to light it up. I mean, that whole team's starting to come around. So they
have a legit trio.
Yes.
Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley and Etienne. That's a great.
Evan Ingram as a good tight end. I mean, you got their defense.
How lucky are they that they just signed Calvin Ridley off the flipping street, man? After that gambling thing,
they're the smartest
people in the world. Give up any draft capital, did they?
Not smartest people in the world. Just said, hey, you know what? Come on in. Yeah, we'll take you. No one else wants you. We'll take you. Smart. It blew my mind how it happened like that. Like no one else looked at this guy and said, hey, yeah, we want him.
I mean, I can see why the 49ers wouldn't, because we don't mess with people with character issues. But there's a point where
character issue. I mean, I get it.
I know.
He bet on football. I mean, all right, cool. You can that shit. All right.
I mean, it wasn't on the Falcons, right? Or was it?
I don't think he did on the Falcons. I mean,
even if you bet on your team, it's not bad if you bet
for your team.
It's only bad if you bet against your team, right?
He was out for the season when it happened. He wasn't even playing or in the stadium or any of that when all this goes down.
All right.
I don't know. Like I said, that to me isn't like a crazy character issue. But God, dude, it's just crazy how that talent. He's good. He's real good, and you can see it now.
No
doubt. I saw a comment. I want to say James said it, and it was about the Raiders needing Eric Bieniemy as the head coach. I don't want that for them. I want him to stay in OC because that's what he's good at.
It's the great one.
Put him at the OC and let Pierce stay the head coach. I'd rather have Pierce yelling at people, telling people what the hell's good, and keep quiet as Bieniemy as the OC, run the offense quietly, and let Pierce just do a Dan Campbell thing. Dan Campbell. Look at the wonders that's done for the Lions. Who's the OC for the Lions? Do you know?
I actually do, because
but
Ben Brown
you
because
don't know. Like what I'm saying is you don't hear about him. You
no,
don't see
no.
him, you don't know nothing about him. He's quietly doing his thing, and Dan Campbell's quietly telling everybody, go out there and kill everybody.
Yeah,
Not
bite their
quietly, he's
kneecaps.
loudly telling everybody.
Yeah, no, Dan Campbell's great, man. You gotta love
Mhm.
that guy. He's one of those guys. Like if you like football, you gotta love Dan Campbell. He is just a football guy, and tough and no nonsense. And I think they were talking about it in the Raiders uh, Lions game where they were just kind of like, you gotta like this guy.
Yep.
It's kind of like Kittle. If you like football, you gotta love Kittle. I always
It's
say.
the intensity, man. It's just intensity.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Great one down here at the bottom saying funny because the media was always bashing Benjamin for being too tough with players.
When did we ever see this? I think, again, the media says a lot of stuff. They say a lot of shit, and I don't believe half of what they say most of the time, man. Have you heard a player come out and say it? Because I haven't heard no players. The Chiefs were mad when he left. I mean, I don't know.
This is funny. James and all, we are so fickle. Wait, no, we're not. Football fans fickle? What are you talking about? Greatest fans. 12-0. We love you. 0-3. Fire everyone. Love the faithful. Yeah, I'm not saying fire Wilkes or fire Kyle. I've never said fire Kyle. I have said that he's a genius in everything except for quarterbacks and every third round pick not named Fred. Moody has a chance to change that. But so far, as you saw in your game, that's when Moody fell apart the most. And then the next week, he missed a 40-yarder in the dome against the Vikings. That was not great. But then now he's perfect since then. So keep it up, Moody. Keep it up. That's one of Bryant Culp's favorite guys. He has a Moody jersey.
Yeah, that's what you were telling me before.
He's like Sam Area and Moody are his two dudes. He likes those underdogs, no doubt about it. Didn't have 6 retirements when Jim Harbaugh left. Boy, that was a rough season. Yeah. No, I mean, the team fell apart. It was like everybody laughed, and the people that were there were like shells of themselves. Like there were still some players on the roster in 2016 that were the same names as 2012, but like they were washed at that point. Yeah. So it wasn't like there was anybody left from that team in reality. All right, I'm gonna leave that one alone. Small world. We tried to trade Harbaugh to the Browns in 2014. Oh, interesting. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I think that was along those same lines of like Jed York trying to go with Trent Baalke, and he just picked the wrong guy. Harbaugh would have a thing to do about. Okay, all right. Raiders want to turn things around if they want to hire Bieniemy as a HC. Yeah, I mean nobody wants to go to that team right now. It's a dumpster fire. I think I saw a stat that was saying, what was it, like the worst point differential in the last 6 seasons or something like that, and the Raiders are number 1 in worst point differential. So
and it's crazy because all the other offensive weapons are good. They have good offensive weapons. They just don't have the quarterback to get them right.
Or the Josh Jacobs is a stud. Devontae Adams, Renfro's good.
Yes.
They got Hooper, right?
No, it's the rookie, isn't it? The rookie, what's his name?
Oh, yeah, they got Mayer.
Mike Mayer, dude. That dude's
and they had Austin Hooper too as their veteran. So they have both.
It's crazy that I have a Browns jersey of Austin Hooper. I had a whole theory about Super Bowls, because if you think about it, the last so many Super Bowls, what did every team have on it? A big white tight end. Every single one of them had a big white tight end. And it's just crazy because they all had it. I'm like, all right, it is. That's what we need. You need a big white tight end win a Super Bowl.
Hey, it's crazier things have been said, I guess. Harbaugh going back to his old team, Chicago, if that's true. Yeah, I think that's it because he played for Chicago. Yeah. So, I mean, he can't do much worse than what their coaches have been doing, that's for sure. Best thing that Mark Davis did for the Raiders to fire McDaniel, I guess, on bench Jimmy. Las Vegas is the AFC equivalent to the Lions. I mean, is going to be. Okay, maybe he's going to be. I was going to say,
I can see that.
The Lions have had so much futility for so long. At least the Raiders had their Super Bowls in the 80s that they won. They won 3. So, and in the, actually, I mean, they won one right before the 49ers did. I remember when it was Jim Plunkett, who had been a 49ers. He was a 49ers QB when I became a 49ers fan. He went to the Raiders, and they beat, I think it was Jaworski and the Eagles in the Super Bowl in 1980, after the 1980 season. So it was 81. And I remember my dad turning to me, and he's just like, what is it about the air in Oakland that makes them champions and makes the 49ers dog shit? You know what? And the next year, there we go with Joe Montana, and the dynasty begins. But it was interesting stuff there from way back in the history machine. I think I was going upwards here through the comments. That's what I do when I get too far behind. I go to the bottom and start working up. How do you let Carr go for Jimmy G? Yeah, I always thought Derek Carr was at least a little bit better than Jimmy G. Better deep ball, more durable. I think he's a better leader. I think Jimmy, too much of like, we need to do better and throwing people under the bus. I don't remember Derek Carr ever doing that. And plus, Devontae Adams really liked Derek Carr. I think that was huge.
Well, I mean, that was because that goes back.
Yeah.
The whole Derek Carr, Devontae Adams goes back to Fresno and high school and all that.
Great one as a point. Jags have a bye too. They're going to be prepared as well. That's true. The bye doesn't really help us any more than them. And the crazy thing is, we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, Mike, but this is our third team this season coming off a bye. And that's not all. We get to play a fourth team coming off a bye. Like, they really shafted us with this schedule.
Well, I mean, at least you're coming off a bye too. But the problem is
at least. But I mean, man, that is so unfair. Like, you shouldn't play more than you should play one. You get one bye. You should play one team coming off a bye, maybe two. Maybe you go the upper edge.
One each half of the season. Yeah.
Yeah, but have 4, like, that's just like no lube. I'll just say it that way. That's the only stuff that matters. But Daniel doesn't know how to use Jimmy. I mean, but everybody thought maybe he might, and Jimmy thought so. Jimmy was making those statements like, oh yeah, I don't know what's going on there in San Francisco, or, kind of like weird things going on out there. Like, basically trying to blame Kyle, and like, okay, it's pretty clear who the problem is, Jimmy. Listen to Taylor Swift. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Say those words, Jimmy. But he won't. He'll probably get another big contract somewhere else. I don't know. Do you think this is it for Jimmy as QB1, or do you think he's just like bridge and backup only now? B&B, bridge and backup.
Yeah, there is no more QB1 for him after this. And he has to know it too. He has to know it. The only way you're a QB1 is if you take your ass and you go to the USFL, or you say, hey, maybe I'm going to go play in the XFL or whatever the hell you want to do. But yeah,
but not in the NFL. Yeah.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was like $130 million later. I know you got 110 from us.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was more. I think you got 110 plus whatever you got last year. I think 11. So 121 from us. And then I think he got at least 15 or 10 or 15 from the Raiders for this season.
Yeah.
So he's pushing up on 135 mil, which is what the original contract with us was supposed to be. But he didn't get that whole last year at 27. Instead, he got 11, so it took 16 off. Yeah, seems about right. Somewhere in that 130 to 135 million. He should be all right. And I'm sure he'll gain more as a backup and bridge anyway. It's not like he's totally cut off of the kneecaps, but I don't think we'll see any more 20 million plus a year contracts.
Hell no. Dude, Tracy Morgan, that stuff. No. Nope. Hell no.
Steve says our bye comes at a perfect time. Yeah, get Debo healthy, get Brock's arm healthy, hopefully his brain unscrambled, and whoever else is banged up. I think Dre Greenlaw was kind of banged up too. See, we got Bobby G in the house. I'm rubbing off too much on you.
Hi, yeah, my boy Bobby. Listen, me and him do the AFC North show Wednesday night, and yeah, me and we're going at it about this, and it wasn't we weren't at each other. We were just talking. The fans, man, the fans are ridiculous. We were talking about the DPJ stuff. I mean, we literally the one night put a video up and said, "Let's listen to this dude," and we stopped it and paused it and went at it about this guy. I mean, this is just irate what's going on here, man. It's starting to kill me a little bit. Like, hey, I'm a true fan of the sport and the game, but the Browns are my team. So I know how this all works. Whether I'm talking about the Niners, the Bengals, I can talk about any team because I study it all and watch it all. But again, people just zone in on one aspect, and that's the problem. Then they go irate and they want to jump off of a cliff.
Yeah.
Stupid.
No doubt. No, I'm with you there. We got Jason Niner Smash Massey in the house, Niner Faithful Radio. Check out his channel. Trade Mitchell to the Browns. We can do it for a fifth rounder. I don't think anyone's giving up a fifth for Elijah Mitchell right now. James says we may lose Trent. We need that money for O-line. I think we'll use our first round pick in 2024 on the tackle. I think that's likely. Depending on if there's any left by the time we pick. That's always the rub. What else we got? Don't we have like 40 million in cap room? Yeah, but we're like 42 mil over for 2024. That's why. So we're trying to roll that.
You see those numbers. See, that's another deceiving thing.
Yeah. Red Jet says T-minus 10 days till we're back on stage. There we go. Just hope that we're ready for a standout performance. Luder Womack must be ready. Yeah. When we signed Chase Young, we traded for Chase. We released the old Cowboys corner named Brown. I forget his first name. And we also let go of Sheffield, who, like, I saw him down on the stationary bike when I was at the game. I'm like, does that say Sherfield? Because I know there's Trent Sherfield, who used to be a Niner, who's on the Dolphins. And then there's one other team that we played this year. I'm forgetting which one it is. They have a Sherfield too, besides the Dolphins. And I was like, but I don't remember the Niners having a Sherfield. And sure enough, we don't. We have a Sheffield, or had. We just released him off the practice squad. And I think that's to make room for Luder and Womack, or at least one of those two, probably Womack for sure. It could also be Danny Gray, could be coming off IR. And it could also be our draft pick, Robert Beal, out of Georgia, the speed defensive end. All four of those guys are eligible for return to practice soon. So we'll see if at least a couple or three of those get called up.
See, hey, what you just said right there, you named off three names that can hit that defensive line, that edge, right? That they're all coming off IR. That's another reason why Chase is, again, going to be able to roam free, because he's not going to have that. We have nobody. We have nothing. And it shouldn't worry you guys because, again, if he does get hurt, you guys still recoup the picks of the pick, whether it's the third or fourth, and you still have the young guys coming in. And I mean, to me, that's a win-win. Shit, why can't we do something like that? That's a win-win to me.
There you go. James Durrell loves seeing the Swifties effing melt this week.
Yes.
I think we're all there. My wife and I had our anniversary on the 20th, and we went and saw the Taylor Swift movie.
Hey, happy anniversary.
Thank you. It's actually a decent movie. They shot it at SoFi at our last concert, 3.5 hour concert, and they cut it down to a 3-hour movie. I will say, like, it was pretty good. I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan, but like, I enjoy some of her old stuff. And I would say the first 2 hours are worth watching, but you could definitely skip the last 45 minutes to an hour. You wouldn't miss anything. So if you do get dragged on a date night, make sure you cut it short. Also, if you need to get refreshments or anything, go out during the Evermore era. That one is the COVID one. It was not good, at least not in my opinion. I don't know. Some people love it, but I'm more about like the upbeat, stuff that's more like happy and I don't know. That's about it. But I could see why people would be pissed off at her with football, because it's such a distraction from football.
Hey, what makes me happy is I'll never go on a date night where I have to worry about that, because no woman that I date or I would be into dating would ever say, let's go see this damn movie or let's go see this. I mean, my daughter, when she was younger, she was all right. I paid for her to go to Taylor Swift with her aunt, but
Yeah.
that is it. After that, now she's nope, don't want nothing to do with it. Don't care.
That's
Like,
good.
all right,
That's
cool,
good.
man.
No, not only did I have to see that movie, but not long ago, I guess it was back before the baby, we saw the Barbie movie too, which was actually decent. Margot Robbie's pretty hot, I will say.
I mean,
so.
she's a good looking chick. Don't get me
She
wrong,
is,
but man,
she
it's
is.
not, I don't know. I heard there was.
Well, then my wife dressed me and my son as Ken with these big low outfits.
I guess you're really doing it the happy wife,
Neon.
happy life thing. But I'm pretty sure there's other ways to make the wife happy.
I even ran into a few Kens out trick-or-treating too. So that was fun. They're like, oh, you're Kenough. Anyway, enough about all that stuff. Sorry. So fun guy in the house saying yesterday I accidentally sent a naked picture of myself to everyone in my address book. Not only was it embarrassing, but it cost a fortune in stamps. He always brings good dad jokes. So thanks, Silly. Good to see you. If Purdy continues to play bad the rest of the season, do we go after a big name QB? Maybe we could use our first round pick for that. I think Kyle's pretty happy with Purdy for now, but yeah, I mean, it just irks me. Like, gosh, maybe we could move up for a QB and draft a number 3 overall. Oh, wait a minute. We already
see there's that overreaction
for peanuts.
There's that
because we were too ready to win now to develop him.
Calm it down. Everything's gonna be all right. You got to. Hey, what's the best part about this is he is literally Mr. Irrelevant. He could do anything, and it's going to be more than what anybody thought he was going to do. What he's already done is literally the Super Bowl of what anybody thought he was going to do. And that's the best part about this. And I think he's going to be fine. He just needs to refocus. He needs to have a Dan Campbell-like guy in his ear like, hey, look, man, you really are a dog. Stop letting all this come get you and chill the hell out. I think Purdy's going to be fine. You saw teams that don't need crazy star quarterbacks. Purdy's not that elite guy. He's that good quarterback that can do the job. That's what he is. He's better than Trent Dilfer. He's right there with Nick Foles, and probably a little better than Nick Foles because Nick Foles was always that backup. He can be the starting QB and do you guys what you need. Don't waste no first-round pick on another quarterback. If you're going to do that, take it in the 3rd or 4th because there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks that come out. But do not do this. Do not overreact to this one.
I mean, and the other thing, too, is like at his price, it's hard to beat his value for sure when he's playing decent. James Bernal says, good God, Ted's a Swiftie. No, I'm not. I'm married to a Swiftie. That's the difference.
You got the bracelets, don't you? You got the damn bracelets, don't you?
I had no bracelets, but with the Ken, they had these like neon green wrist warmers. They're like stretchy fabric. But they kept me warm when it was chilly because there was no sleeves on the outfit. It was like 2 vests.
Out there, it's chilly out there. Well, I guess for you, 60s probably chilly, huh?
It was no. I think it might have dipped into the 50s.
Well, yeah, it's 50 right now. Here, I got windows open.
There you go. I love it. All right, I'm going to leave the Deshaun stuff alone. Dreadjet says this Cleveland fan is the truth.
I appreciate you, Dreadjet. I appreciate you.
James said, okay, Ben got the same backlash. Okay, this is all the same stuff. I'm going to stay out of that.
Listen, the whole thing with Deshaun, look, all that crap happened. It could have went either way. People look at it like he is that. Other people look at it like women are the way they are nowadays, trying to get a buck or two because society has done deemed that in a sense. But look past all that. If we look past all that and say what he's done this year, it has been trash. He came out in the Tennessee game and showed, hey, I can still do it. And then he got hurt in the ball. Then he got hurt. And then that was it. Now we're sitting here wondering, can he come back from this? Can this happen? Can that happen?
Well, we're wondering, is he going to play this week? Because he said today, like, I don't know if I can play this weekend. It's like
he's out there throwing the ball around. I don't know if I want him to play. I'd rather him continue to see. This is the same thing as the Purdy situation. Let him continue to practice, get the full range, full velocity on that ball. And, dude, it's the Cardinals. They have to come to the East. I'd rather see DTR out there. But
there you go.
DJ Walker, our defense will handle their rookie quarterback starting. We'll be perfectly fine. So just let Deshaun go into the Baltimore game because that's when we really need him.
There you go. No, DTR is a hell of a player. He was good at UCLA, and he's definitely very mobile. And if he can learn to throw the ball well, we're seeing Lamar finally look like a stud, like that. What everybody thought he could be. He's sort of getting into that elite category. I was loath to ever call him elite. Almost ready to call Lamar an elite player. If he can keep this up for an appreciable period of time, I'm going to have to add him up there with, obviously Mahomes, Josh Allen, Burrow. I still have Herbert up there. Herbert may fall out. I don't know. Maybe we'll put T-Law up there. I don't know.
I need to see Lamar do it the rest of this year and next year before I even say, hey, this dude's an elite passer.
Win a few playoff games.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, go to the playoffs, do your thing.
He's 1-3 in the playoffs right now, right? Something like that.
Yes. And that's the thing to me with Lamar. All right, his percentage is up. If you take Mark, he's like Pat Mahomes to me. I think if you take Mark Andrews away from him, what is he? He's not. None of them wide receivers are catching the ball.
No.
Zay Flowers might be a little bit. Odell isn't. Bateman isn't. None of them guys are catching the ball. So is he dink and dunking to the running backs, the 500 of them they got switching in and out up there? Or it's Mark Andrews. So when Mark Andrews is hurt, because he was hurt at the beginning of the year, he wasn't passing the ball. He was running the whole damn time. That's what I'm saying. Is it one of those situations? I don't know.
There you go. So this is what caused it all here. If Purdy doesn't work out, we need to get Okay, I
don't advise anybody to go trade for Deshaun Watson right now.
No. Not with that contract. I mean, my God.
Well, if you look at it, all right, the only bad thing about that contract is it's fully guaranteed.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. That's
it, because if you think of number-wise, he's fallen down to almost 10 number-wise. All these other quarterbacks have gone way above him. So you're like, all right, the fully guaranteed where the real issue is. But again, that could be worked out. The Browns would probably take a chunk of that hit and trade him and let the other team take it, however that worked out. But I sure in hell wouldn't do it. And if I'm the Browns, I'm not doing it either. You staked it, you might as well claim it and let this man run wild and see what happens.
There you go. James says our D was full of passion the past few seasons. Ryan Saleh firing guys up. D'Amico Ryans and Robert Saleh firing guys up on the sideline, calling plays, make our stars be stars. Wilkes wants to be closer to the effing cafeteria. That's brutal. I just think some people are more a Booth. I mean, a great example is I'm blanking on his name right this second, but the one for the Dolphins who we thought about getting, and he ended up with the Dolphins with Mike McDaniel.
Was that Fangio?
Yeah, Vic Fangio is a Booth DC. And I just think if you're not like a rah, fired up kind of person like Saleh and D'Amico Ryans are, then sometimes you're better off in the booth. Like they showed pictures of Steve Wilkes where like everybody's like all excited because there's a great defensive play. And he's just like, stoic and just like thinking about the next play. And like, it's almost better that that's not on the sideline. It might drag the emotions down, instead of pumping them up. So I think just by being on the sideline doesn't cure all your ills, I don't think. But
it doesn't, but you gotta know that's a culture shock right there. You go from that, go kill everybody in your face, going crazy type to silent and chilling type. Like that's, you're going different ends of the spectrum. I would hate that. If I was a player, I would hate to have a coach pumping me up, getting me ready to go out there and murder somebody, and then all of a sudden I got a coach that don't do shit. Don't even say don't do nothing. Don't get crazy when we do anything good. Just sits there, takes it. Like, man, that kind of bums me the hell out right there.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Randy says firing coach is like electing a Democrat and then the Republicans after, nothing get better or change. I want the same coach for as long as possible, as long as he's the top ones. Yeah, but the great coaches get poached. So that's the problem, Randy. And keep politics out of this. I try and stay away from politics on Twitter and on here, but it creeps in from time to time.
Listen, hey, write my name in on the ballot. I'm going to go run this damn country because it needs to be somebody that has no either end, no left, no right.
Yes, that's what I've been saying. Somebody runs in the middle and stays in the middle and doesn't, because extremism in any way, whether it's politics or religion, is no good. We see it all the time. The other nut jobs blowing people up and
Yeah.
doing the crazy stuff that nobody really wants. But that's what you got to go extreme to get the dollars. So that's the problem with this system. Anyway, I'm going to stay out of that. But while we're talking about dollars, it's probably a good quick segue to talk about TTG, the Travelstead Group, my sponsor. They do retail and hospitality logistics. That's transportation and warehousing for brick and mortar. They do FFE, which is fixed furniture and equipment. They do OSC, which is operating supplies and equipment. They do new store openings, rollouts, relocations, decommissions from the first mile to the final mile and everywhere in between. Travelstead has you covered. Let them know how they can help you via air, ocean, or land. They do closed loop solutions for retail and hospitality. You'd be working with Nick and Henry there. They're great guys. All their support is US based. And in complex logistics, there's always little things that need to be fine tuned. It's just good to know that people helping you will understand your problems, your business, what you do, not some call center overseas that has no clue what you do. And so check out their website. It's in the description of the show. It's in my YouTube About page, my Twitter bio, also on Instagram and Facebook. If you follow me there, click on it, check out the video. And if it makes sense, give them a call and make sure you tell them Ted sent you. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. And thanks for letting me pay the bills, Big Mike. Appreciate it.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I want to get to the point. I want to pay the bills like that, too.
It's it pays some of them. There you go. But it's always
some of them's better than
it's really just paying back some of the money that I've dumped into this for the nearly year that I've been doing it. But hey, it all counts and it all helps, and I'm very grateful for my sponsor. And if there anybody else out there that is looking for someone to get out the word for their company, let me know. They're my title sponsor, but I can always have more than one sponsor. So yeah, keep them rolling. Let's see here. Jake has bounced back nicely. Justin Tucker was about his rookie year. I didn't know that about Justin Tucker.
Yeah.
But Justin Tucker was an undrafted free agent versus Jake Moody's a third round draft pick. You get a lot more leeway as an undrafted player. I guess you kind of cut it both ways. Sometimes an undrafted player, you get gone more easily too. So I guess
unless you're Janikowski getting drafted in the first round.
He struggled early too.
He did, but then again, he come out and he became what he was supposed to be.
Yeah. Since I don't receive a ring or a trophy, I don't care if they win a Super Bowl. Just get there. Once they're there, I'm at a party drinking and eating, not watching anyway. Oh, hush, Randy. We want rings here, baby. Like none of this like participation trophy bull. How old are you, Randy? Are you part of that generation? I don't know. Because for me, I want a ring. I'm to the point where I was ready to go all in, even if, it meant we would fall apart a little bit sooner, like the Rams. I want to get that ring. But I just wonder if part of the reason why we didn't go on is because they're not sure that going all in would get us a ring. With the troubles that we have, it's hard to say that getting a corner and, maybe a tight end or a offensive lineman or something would have fixed all what ails the 49ers. It's hard to say. But it's okay with Campbell. I think we're caught up here. Yeah, 2 tough on players. I remember those. So we'll scoot down here to the bottom. Randy is laughing. Haven't seen a ring since 95, but I was still 15. Yeah, I was 25, so you're 10 years younger than me, Shell. Must be 43. I'm bored of winning Super Bowls. Stop it. Nobody's bored of winning Super Bowls, except for maybe Tom Brady. Team 44. Is that Juice Check? Is that what you're saying? Not sure what Team 44 is. 40 Club, long over it, dude. Haha. All right. Oh, Team 44. Okay, so you're 44 years old. There you go. So Randy's 45. All right, we're all outing ourselves. I'm 53. Don't feel pressure, Mike. You don't.
I'm 39.
There you go. Early for 4th on Moody. Oh, early 4th. That's true. It was a 3rd round comp pick. It wasn't. We moved up into the 3rd for Jair Brown at 87, but Moody was 99, which is after the 3rd round technically is over. I wondered if Ted would ever sponsor Naughty. No, but I am a naughty boy for sure. I always get in trouble. I always get caught. That's the problem. So I guess I used to be more naughty, and then I get in too much trouble for it. So I started to change my ways and toe the line a little bit more as I got older. I'm just a terrible liar, so that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
We're not working together. That's why we're separated. And always. Oh well, there you go. Rock Oprah ticket. It's Daytona. Spicoli 24. You chose. I would vote for Rock and Oprah.
I mean, The Rock, man. I don't know if I want Oprah in the damn ticket.
The Rock would be great, no doubt about it.
That would be funny.
Would the USFL overtake the NFL then? Is that what would happen?
Oh, there we go. That's what I'm talking about right there.
There you go. I got the shaft. We had D'Amico, McDaniel, and Kyle last year. 3 HCs shows we don't anymore. Yeah. Grant wrote an interesting article about that where he said, do we miss McDaniel more or D'Amico more? And the answer is kind of like yes. I think we miss them both on offense and defense.
Yeah.
Randy Tuna, Joe Cool. Yeah. Miss him. DTR. There you go. So Bryant's a big fan. But remember, he's a big fan of Sam Darnold too. So I don't know.
But see, the thing with DTR is I hated how he treated that situation. Lamar goes down 2 hours before the Ravens game. We're going to throw DTR in without knowing anything. He goes out there, shits the bed, gets smoked, and then we just go away from him. We should have just kept playing him. Keep letting him play. I mean, anybody on 2 hours notice with no practice with first string goes out there is going to get killed.
Yeah.
They should have just kept letting them play. Put DTR back out there with full swing of things and everything. Let him play, man. The dude's a baller. When you go down there, I don't know any other quarterback that gets 2 illegal blocking penalties. This dude went out there in one game, got 2 illegal blocking penalties because he was smacking dudes. I mean, come on.
I mean, at the very least, there are no other quarterbacks with hyphenated names, are there?
I don't think anymore, no.
Yeah. So, I mean, that would be unique just in itself. Joe Stevens in the house saying go Hawks. He's a Seahawks creator, good guy. He does a lot of work with Ryan from No Border Sports, who I team up with on Tuesdays for No BS Ted. Joe's a great guy. We've done a few shows together, and check out his channel. Make sure you give him a like and subscribe. Congrats on your win over the Browns. I don't know if you probably weren't here for the beginning of the show, but Mike and I had a deal. Like we were going to beat the Bengals for the Browns, and the Browns were going to beat the Seahawks for us, and we both let each other down. So,
yeah.
But congrats on your win. Congrats on your messy Jamal Adams, messy like heading the ball to Tariq Woolen to win the game, or at least to get the turnover towards the end of the game. That's crazy stuff. It's going to be interesting. We got the Niners. We play the Jags on the 12th, and then the Bucks on the 19th, and then we head on up to the Seahawks on the 23rd on Thanksgiving. So that's a huge game coming up as far as maybe division.
That's going to be a good game on Thanksgiving, too.
Right? Yeah, on Thanksgiving.
Thank God. Well, because you don't ever really get good games anymore. It was always Detroit versus somebody, Dallas versus somebody, and, that was just trash. And then now they added the third game, and the third game was always something.
Yeah, I don't know who it is. Mike just froze there. So
shit show.
There you go. You kind of froze up there for a second, and again. Oh. But bottom line is, it's going to be. I mean, the Seahawks took over first place in the NFC West after we lost to the Bengals, or after they beat you guys, I guess. They are 6-2, whereas the 49ers are 5-3. So, or maybe they're 5-2. But whatever it is, they're ahead of us in the NFC West, which is I don't think many people expected that for this season. I didn't I thought they'd be close to us. I never thought they'd be ahead of us.
Yeah, I thought they would always come in second. I didn't think it was going to be a real crazy battle, but here it is.
But I also didn't expect them to pick up Leonard Williams and Frank Clark either. The thing about Frank Clark is, it's kind of either it's a wash or even a slight step down from Uchenna Nwosu, who they lost for the season. Although the scary thing is they may get Nwosu back for the playoffs. He had pec surgery, and there's a chance he could be back for the playoffs. So then they could have Frank Clark and Nwosu and Leonard Williams. Then that starts to be, Mafe. Then all of a sudden their D-line starts to be somewhat scary. Randy's saying that's how quickly things can change. Remember how Walton was before he got hurt? Almost MVP. I think he meant Watson. Ted, Mike is in the East Coast. 50 degrees is no biggie. For you in California, 50 degrees is long. No, I mean, it's not that bad. But I was wearing shorts and here, I'll show a picture.
I'm wearing shorts now. I was wearing a cut off sleeve shirt.
I'll show the outfit. This is my son and I. Here we go. Before we went out. So
all right.
then my wife decided that it was too cold for him to go out dressed as Ken in the shorts, and she put him in his Lightning McQueen. He had two outfits, one for dress up for Halloween, and the next day he wore a costume to school. So he had Lightning McQueen for that. The jumpsuit was much warmer, so that's what we actually went out in the cold weather in. But yeah, no problem for hubby. He could stay in the shorts. Like I said, luckily I had those wrist warmers to keep me toasty. So pretty far from long johns and leg warmers. Oh boy, here we go. Ted walking into a Swift movie with a pack of glow sticks. No. Although I will say the theaters in Redwood City are pretty great. They have these reclining seats, and you can reserve them ahead of time, so you don't have to fight to get your seat you want. They're already reserved. You can even have stuff delivered to your seats. It's a pretty nice experience. And it's not much more expensive than the regular movie. I don't think we'll ever go back to watching regular movies after that. So I highly recommend that if you're on the
fence. Be honest, I don't go to the theaters. I'm a whiz with doing certain things. So I can sit here and
hack them. There you go. Crack streams or something along those lines.
Yeah. I mean, we do have a theater like you're talking. You can order wings, beer, everything, sit there, recline, and eat. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I want to go experience that once at least, because I haven't yet. But
no, you should definitely try it one of these times. In fact, they even they have a subwoofer in your headrest. So when the beats are going on the screen, your headrest is vibrating along with it. It's stuff. I think they call it XD or something like that. Yeah, you should definitely check one out. It's like $20.
Yeah, that's what they say
out here, which means in Ohio it's probably a little bit cheaper. You probably get one for 15 or something. Would be my guess. So we suck at early picks. Those guys cost more anyway. Trade for a player and later picks. Yeah, trading back is never a bad idea. I definitely want to tackle with this first round draft pick.
Yeah,
or QB. No, I don't want to get in trouble. We can package some draft picks from the next three drafts, 2024, 2025, 2026. We'll use 3 first-round draft picks, and we'll move up to number 3 overall. Oh, wait.
And what QB are you taking?
I feel like I've heard this somewhere before. I don't know.
What QB you going to take if you did that, though?
Happy spouse, happy house. I hadn't heard that. I've heard happy wife, happy life. But
see, I like what Red Jet said, though, because that goes both ways then.
Yeah. How are you on time? I didn't really ask. We're an hour and 15.
We're rocking, man. Keep it going.
Okay. I just want to make sure because I should have asked you before we started.
Hey, listen, man. I don't got nothing to do.
Where he says not by your logic. Snowflake, maybe something
We're over there
there.
talking about Steve Wilkes is what's been going on over there. It's
Hmm.
it's a big whole thing about how they're battling about Steve Wilkes.
Well, I mean, Steve Wilkes didn't miss the tackles, did he? I mean,
Well, listen, the thing is Steve Wilkes, he was here in Cleveland for a little while, and then he went to Arizona. I think he got he did his thing in Arizona, and I can't believe they just ran him out the building and never really gave him a shot. And then he was in Carolina, and they were tanking for Bryce, and it was just he's had a lot of bad breaks, is what it is. And I don't think it's a problem because your defense is still the defense. You have all them guys out there. There's no reason why it can't just be on Steve Wilkes. This isn't like a Matt Canada thing in Pittsburgh. This is nowhere near what that is. Matt Canada is trash. His whole scheme is trash. And they do not have the players that can do it. They have nothing. Deontay Johnson, I don't like. Pickens is going to be a great wide receiver.
Pickens is great, yeah.
But Pickett is not the quarterback for that system whatsoever, or that team, let alone.
No, I mean, if you think Purdy has small hands at 9 1/4 inch, Pickett is 8 5/8 inch hands, which is
and then you got that. Then they have no running back. Najee Harris is trash. Jalen Warren really is just a complimentary back.
Is Najee trash, or is it just their
No,
O line
he's
can't run block?
That's the next Trent Richardson. Straight trash.
Really?
Straight trash. I just don't think he's good. I mean, they don't have a real good offensive line, but you would think he would somehow spark and have some sort of game here and there. He's not doing any of it. And this is going on the second year of not doing it. And they beefed up their offensive line, supposedly, which I don't really think they did. They brought in players. I just don't think it's worked out. I think they really do need to focus on a real rebuild here soon. Like, I get they're winning games and they're doing their thing, but I think they need to revamp some stuff. Because, again, the quarterback position, whether or not they start to really believe in Pickett or not, that offensive line needs to really be bulked up. You need to really invest some pieces in that. I thought Najee was going to be traded at that deadline. Let Jalen Warren take over the rest of the year, get rid of Najee. I almost thought if Henry really got traded, he was going to the Steelers or Baltimore. And I'd have been pissed. But that would have been a good fit for him to go to either one of them, because the AFC North is all about that downhill, smash mouth, running football. So
there you go. Tezzy, he's Janet. Miss Jackson.
Yeah.
You're nasty. Oh, the wardrobe malfunction. Who's not a fan of that?
Good old JT helped everybody out with that one.
Let's see. There's a question. Jim Everett the Great says PJ Walker exposed you clowns. He definitely did. PJ Walker, he exposed our D line. As you know, mobile quarterbacks help neutralize a good D line, and
I don't believe it.
But
I will not give PJ Walker that credit.
He did a little bit.
I will give
you guys won the game.
Play credit, but what he did against Seattle, that's what I would have said it would have exposed something, because he actually ran. Like, when you're doing the read option or the RT, you have to actually be willing to run. Before that, he was just handing the ball off, so everybody knew it was going to the running back. He wasn't taking off ever. Seattle game, he actually faked the handoff and was starting to run and would gain 5, 6 yards, 7 yards. And I was like, cool. They're using his legs like they should be doing. Now, that made me feel better about the situation, because not sitting back there just getting smoked every time, or watching the running back get hit 2 yards shy of the line of scrimmage wasn't doing it.
There you go. Yeah. I like it. Jim Everett the Great says Rams run the chat. Nah, Jim. Only thing Rams run is their stars out of town. Jalen Ramsey.
He's in there going off these Rams, boy.
Bobby Wagner back to the Seahawks. Who's left? You got AD all by himself on that defense. You got, I would say Cooper Kupp was all alone with Stafford on the offense, but man, Puka Nacua really came out of nowhere. I got to give them props on Puka.
Yeah, Puka.
So other than that, they got, and I guess Kyron Williams is doing good things as well. I haven't watched him.
He's injured, but that he is a monster.
He's pretty legit, huh? Out of Notre Dame, if I'm not mistaken. So I guess they didn't run all the stars out of town, but hey, 3-5. Good luck, Jim. Good luck. I think I said you're going to run back 5-12. I'm staying with it, even though it looks like you'll get a little more than 5 wins. I don't think the Rams will make the playoffs. Trey the Wave says, do you think Shanahan is done with Brock just like Jimmy G and Lance? I don't think so. He certainly is saying, like, he's still all, I can't believe it. He said something recently, like, I can't believe how much I still believe in Brock, or, something along those lines. So sometimes he lies. So it's possible that he's lying, but his words are not matching up that he's done with Jimmy G. I mean,
he's an idiot saying some shit like that.
Purdy.
Straight idiot move.
What's that?
That's an idiot move. If Kyle said that?
No. He's saying Kyle said that he's fully in on Brock Purdy.
Oh, all right.
He still totally trusts him.
Believe how much he's in on him. I was like, what?
No, he's like almost like, you can't believe how much I am. Like, I'm still so in on Brock Purdy.
Oh, all right. I'm about to say, like, if he said those words, I can't believe how much I am. Like
I said, he could be lying, but
because that's what it sounded like to me, that he's second guessing himself.
But he doesn't sound like he's moved on. I'll just say,
I hope not.
And I guess time will tell. Actions speak louder than words. I've always said that, but right now his words are saying that he's not done.
Yeah.
Jimmy wasn't one and done. Oh, not in the playoffs. No, Jimmy always won at least 2 playoff games for us. He got us to the NFC Championship game. I mean, technically, I will say in 2019, Jimmy threw an interception to Eric Kendricks in the first half against the Vikings. And then he threw 2 more times to Kendricks, and Kendricks dropped him twice. So in the second half against the Vikings, Kyle shut him down. And Kyle only let Jimmy throw the ball 4 times in the last 2 quarters against the Vikings. So 2 times a quarter. And then he stuck with that number. He's like, let's just stay with that for the NFC Championship games. Only 8 pass attempts in the NFC Championship game against the Green Bay Packers. So 12 pass attempts in the last 6 quarters. So you can say he got us there, but I mean, he really more, was there while we got there is sort of more of the truth. And we're starting to see that now with Jimmy G. So wasn't surprised to see Jimmy struggle with the Raiders.
No, not at all. I didn't think it was going to be any good anyways.
Jim Everett's trying to compare all these 1945.
Yeah, he's going back. I saw him doing all that. That's crazy.
Hey, Jim, how many teams were in the NFL in 1945? Out of curiosity. It was like 12? Was it 8?
No,
because
like 12, yeah.
Either way, that's less than winning a Super Bowl, which they didn't call it a Super Bowl, a championship. Back then, that's less impressive than winning an NFC championship now, where you're beating 16 teams. So, take your 1945 and stick it where the sun don't shine. But I'll just go through that one just because you wrote it down. But 2021 Rams better than 84 Niners. That was the team that beat Dan Marino in the Super Bowl. Okay. Sure. 99 Rams greater than 89 Niners. No, wait, 89 Niners was like one of the greatest teams ever. Like, I think they were 16-1. We had just won in 88. We won in 89. We would have won in 90 if Roger Craig didn't fumble. I mean, we were on our way to a three-peat with that team. That was maybe one of the best teams ever.
That team was great, but the greatest show on turf was a hell of a team. That was a hell of a Rams team.
And a hell of a story, like Kurt Warner out of the Super Bowl.
I mean, that was a hell of a story. Yeah, I'm not saying anything about matchup. That was a hell of a team to watch play. It was exciting football, man.
Yeah, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Marshall Falk.
Yeah, Isaac Bruce. Yeah.
No, they were incredible, no doubt about it. But 89 Niners were special. I mean, that's probably my favorite Niners team is the 89 Niners. Other than like the first one to win it all, with the catch and everything like that. But like, just as far as like, I think the best team, the most dominant team I've ever watched play was the 89 Niners. Right. They just beat the snot out of LA and the Broncos in the Super Bowl. 94 Niners were pretty dominant too, but like the Chargers weren't as good of a team. And
nah, they definitely weren't.
Mm.
I won money on that.
There you go. Probably will get another shot before Wilkes and Bieniemy. Oh, so we're coming in somewhere. Look at McDaniels. He's such Oh man, no, I don't think anybody's giving McDaniels a coaching job again. I think he's
done too. Like
2 strikes. 2 strikes, you're out. He's going to go back with his tail between his legs back to Bill Belichick.
Look, I even said if he wants to be a head coach, he needs to go down to the college scene, find a team, redo how he does his head coaching stuff, and start there, and then work his way back. Otherwise, go be an OC and just stay an OC. You were good at that. Be great at that. Don't mess yourself up and lose money because you want to try to be better than you are.
Jim Everett the Great getting a little harsh here. Wilks, 12 jobs in 5 years. Now, he's had not nearly that many, but I mean, he's never been anywhere more than a year. That's the problem with Wilks. If we are going to, poke holes, he's got 0 longevity where he stayed more than a year anyway. And some of it's, like we said, maybe not his fault, but after a while, you kind of got to go, well, maybe you are the problem.
Yeah.
Rams gears drip. No, dude. You know which gear I really liked was I was watching I mentioned it earlier that I was watching the Raiders Lions game, and I love the Honolulu blue helmets for the Lions with that blue metallic, and it was matte, so it was like somehow shiny and matte. And oh man, I was like, those look cool. I was definitely.
I like how they put the way the lion was on there. I like
with jumping through the 2, the blue and the gray bars. Yeah, it was just the whole thing. I was a big fan of the colors and whatnot. Maybe the Niners could do something similar with a red helmet, or I guess gold, but gold I don't think is quite as cool as metallic red or blue like that. It reminds me of like my e-bikes that I had and my remote control cars have upgrade parts that look like that when you're ready to move off of the plain aluminum or plain plastic or whatever. Get something shiny. A lot of times they look like that. Wilks was one and done in a bad situation in Arizona. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to fault over that. That was more Josh Rosen, I think, and them tanking for Kyler. Like you said, there's a couple times teams were tanking. I get it, but then what was the reason in Cleveland?
Well, I think it was a bad situation, period. Because it was Wilson. Was it Mangini or was it God, I can't think of who the hell it was.
Oh, was
Mike?
it Mangini? Okay.
Was it Mike? Was it Patton? No.
It could be. Interesting. Great one says, my point is black coaches don't get the same treatment as white coaches. This is very true. And it's a real shame. It's a shame.
Trash.
You see it. I mean, where I ran into a lot was, arguing with people about Trey Lance and defending Trey Lance. And there's so many people that were piling on Trey Lance that just, you could tell it just wasn't just football. It was like their chance to like put somebody down because of the color of their skin. And it was just really frustrating. I really got a feel for it a little, as much as you probably could as a white man.
Yeah.
It was terrible. It was a terrible feeling. And I'm not saying everyone who hates Trey Lance is a racist. Just there are definitely some. You could see it in their other stuff when they talk about politics and whatnot. It really showed true.
I don't understand no racism anymore, man. This country's run by the people. If the people come together, we run it all. Stop hating each other. That's the whole. Stop hating each other.
Yeah, no doubt. Kyle and Wilks the same then. No, I mean Kyle's a nepo baby, because of Mike Shanahan. And we talked about Grant Cohn earlier. He's a nepo baby because his dad Lowell was a Niners reporter in the 80s and basically gave his press pass to Grant. But being a nepo baby, it only gets your foot in the door. It doesn't take you to the heights that both of these guys have gone to on their own. So you can't blame it all. You could say that they got there sooner. They got their start sooner. Therefore, they achieved higher heights sooner.
Their foot was in the door sooner than normal.
Right. But you got to take the ball and run with it. And if you don't have,
you still got to do the job.
You still got to do the job. You still got to be excellent. And I think they both have proven that they are. What do we have now? I don't know. What is that? I think he won games, not a Super Bowl. I think that's Jimmy. Kyle won with a great defense. But if he picked the defense, then you got to give him or prioritize defense. Then Kyle still gets credit for that.
Yep.
One with Jimmy. Yep. Kyle losing record. We didn't know Jimmy played. Well, but part of that is because of who came in. It was Hoyer, it was Mullins, it was CJ Beathard. These guys are not starters here, and they're not starters anywhere else. So it's not, obviously you can see with Matt Ryan, you can see with Jimmy, you can see with Purdy what it looks like with, at least a competent NFL starting QB. Then it's a much different look. All right, I think we've pretty much covered most everything. We're kind of getting into circular arguments here. Been on for an hour 30. That's where I start to turn into a pumpkin here. Maybe time to go clean the pumpkins off the front porch. Yeah. And we're caught back up on the comments, at least to where we were. Let me just go down to the bottom, make sure there's nobody here.
About Kings, Lakers now.
There we go. Well, real quick, just want to call it Sentinels Football Channel. Make sure you check out his YouTube channel. It's great stuff. We got Sacktown Izzy in the house. Thanks for joining. You guys lit the beam last night. I thought the Warriors won. What? I thought
he's talking about when they faced the Lakers earlier.
Okay. That night. Okay. All right. Not last night. Sorry, my bad eyes.
Yeah.
Like, man, I could swear we just beat you guys barely on a last-second Klay Thompson shot last night. But hey, shout out to the Kings. Great fans, great team, great young team. I really like De'Aaron Fox. I really like what's the other guy's name? What's that?
Sabonis?
No, I don't like Sabonis at all.
You don't like Sabonis?
I like their other guard.
You got Fox. You got Malik Monk.
Yes, Fox and Monk. Those two are really fun to watch. I see them as a lot like a young Curry and Clay, potentially. I mean, not obviously with the shooting, but just very dynamic players, playmakers, scorers. It's a great young core, and good luck to the Kings in the future for sure. Could be as quickly as next year. It could be even this year. Who knows how long this old Warriors team is going to hold together with duct tape and super glue.
It's coming down. It's coming down the pipe. It's about to be the end of it soon.
It's Father Time is undefeated, and these guys are all in their mid to late 30s. It's just not a recipe for success in the NBA anymore. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see if they can stay healthy. They might have 1 or maybe 2 more years left in them. We'll see. Let's see. So who else we got? Sentinels here. Sacktown Izzy. I think that's pretty much it. Bryant's here. I think we said hi to everyone else. That was the main thing. I just want to make. We got Dariel Demora on your channel here.
I don't know who that is.
Okay. Well,
thanks for stopping by. I don't know what that is, but
it is on Facebook. He's just I don't know. He's promoting a YouTube page. Maybe I would say don't click that, folks.
Don't do that.
Don't click that. Rams. Kevin Dotson, highest grade NFL this season. Interesting. Rams guard. That's interesting because the Rams were pretty weak on O-line last year, mostly due to injuries, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
They got really beat up. Their O-line. They had some crazy number of configurations.
I really think that's what's hindering them now. Williams going out. Cup coming back. If Cup would have been there earlier, different things for the Rams right now is what's happening. Stafford, is he regressing again? Is that elbow hurting him? Because they're talking about him maybe sitting this week. I don't know. There's a lot of things going on over there.
There you go. Well, good. Well, Mike, thanks for coming back.
Always.
We'll see you next week. Somewhere around 2:30 we'll probably be on. Also, if you guys didn't see in the banner, Randy, especially you helped me with I voted for Pedro. We're trying to think of a name for the show, for the weekly show. I don't know. I'll start thinking on it myself too. See if we can come up with anything. And who do you guys play this weekend, Mike?
We got Arizona in Cleveland, so.
Okay, so should be a W.
Yeah, well, we're going to just say should.
But then again, I said that to a Falcons fan who was playing the Titans last week. And
but see, Will Mayo,
Jordan Watkins was on. and I was like, oh, the the Tanktons or something because I figured they were tanking, you know. And all of a sudden, Will Levis comes in and throws 4 touchdowns, and like,
Listen.
and now I guess he's going to start again. I mean, yeah, they're not going to put back Tannehill after that.
Well,
I mean,
Vrabel was looking real stupid because he even said, he goes, well, I don't know. It depends on how Ryan listen, you put Will Mayo Levis in and you let that boy do what he did because he re-energized that offense. D-Hop looked like old D-Hop. Henry was running the ball with authority. Let this team go. That's the reason why you didn't trade those 2 guys away, because of that win. The way they looked is why you didn't. And it's not even that Levis come out and said, oh, I'm just going to toss about. He had poise. He looked good doing it. It wasn't just some rookie fluke thing. That dude looked good and comfortable, cool, calm, collect, doing what he did. I think they come out and I think they win tonight in Pittsburgh.
there you go. Randy he's back on the Kings bandwagon. He pretended to be a Kings fan with the whole light the beam, and we were playing them in the playoffs. But really, Randy, you're a Detroit Pistons fan, so be honest. You're not. We're nice.
That's why he's switching up right here, because Detroit has got nothing right now with the Pistons. The Pistons,
there you go.
They got a lot of young pieces, but they got to put it
including
together.
James Wiseman, the former Warrior, who was a lot like Trey Lance, very raw. It's funny, both Barry teams picked these raw developmental players for these win now teams, and both of them now have since been traded away for peanuts.
And I mean, that's a good young piece, to be honest. If you can develop him, Cade Cunningham, I think Ivies is there. I mean, you got some good pieces in Detroit, but it's just a matter of getting it right.
Sacktown Izzy says, light the beam. There you go. It's a cool beam for sure. Even Jordan Elliott, who's a big Niners Warriors guy, was like, I kind of wish my team had something cool like this. It's pretty cool. The kind of purple laser they shoot into the sky. Let's see here. What do you say? Oh, Pistons. I guess he's off that bandwagon and onto the Kings. They're recharging their batteries.
Hey, I agree. They are. Like I said, they got good young talent. It's just a matter of getting some good veteran leadership around them, getting the right coach, and seeing where they go.
There you go. Well, good luck against the Cards. I don't think we'll need it, this season, but they are division rivals technically, normally. Yeah. But right now they only have 1 win.
Well, they got their rookie quarterback starting, so
hopefully they do have a new quarterback starting.
Well, that rookie.
Oh, right, because they got rid of Josh Dobbs.
Tune's going to start. They were trying to convince everybody Kyler might. No, they're dumb if they do that move. But I heard Tune's going to start, and I'm like, all right, dude, Myles Garrett's about to eat like.
Well, we know it's not Colt McCoy, right? Because he's gone too. He's on another team.
No, it's I can't think of his first name.
Clayton.
I know his last name's Tune. I don't.
Yeah, Clayton Tune, I think.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, interesting. And then so there are some good games this weekend. We should probably shout out. Obviously, there's let's see here. There's the Eagles and Cowboys play.
Chiefs Dolphins.
Chiefs Dolphins is a big one.
Bills Cincy.
Bills Cincy is a huge one. No. And I feel like there was one more, but maybe not. That might have been it. That's still a pretty good slate.
Yeah, because I think that's going to be around it. There's 3 big ones. Because what else do they got going on?
No, there's nothing else.
You know what's a good one, and that Seahawks Ravens game. I think that'll be a good game.
Yeah,
I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be close. I know you're praying the Ravens stomp all over them. I'm going the opposite way because I need the Ravens to come down.
Oh, that's true. This has big implications. Shit, man. You're a Seahawks fan. You couldn't even beat them. Now you're rooting for them?
I'm not rooting for nobody.
Fine, then I'm rooting for the Bengals to beat them. No, I can't because I like the Bills. I like Josh Allen. But I think the Bengals will beat the Bills.
I'm going for a draw in the Ravens-Seahawks game. You say you think the Bengals are going to beat the Bills?
Yeah.
I feel like it's a switch. The Bills got a lot going. The whole
Bills a lot going. They got a lot going on IR. They got Matt Milano gone. They got Tre'Davious White gone. They got Traquan's. Was it Traquan? No, something's. Their defensive tackle that they lost the same time they lost Maloney in London.
The Damar Hamlin thing, I think, is going to be huge because this is where it happened last year when he got hit, went down. I think they're going to walk him out there at the 50-yard line for the coin flip, so it's going to take the air out. Everybody's going to be all buttered up, like, oh, now they're not raw. Every time something happens, it's going to be that way. But I also think the Bills need this win. So do the Bengals, but the Bills need it. Like,
they do, but then they lost Kyer Elam to their other corner, and then they
are injured.
Russell Douglas is decent, but they were trying to get they were trying to get Jalen Johnson, just like we were from the Bears, and nobody got him. So I think Jalen Johnson might have saved their season. I don't think that Russell Douglas will. I'll just say.
You know what's funny about that whole situation is Josh Allen, when they played Green Bay, Josh Allen went right up to Rasul Douglas's face and said, "You effing suck." Now he's on the damn team with them.
I take it all back. I was just kidding.
Nah, you good?
Love you now. Go stop Joe Burrow. Okay, yeah, good luck. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd and oh man,
yeah, it's going to be a rough game, but that's I think that'll be closer than people think. But the Bills are injury prone, but I somehow think they squeak it out.
Oh, it is in Buffalo, right? So
no, it's in Cincy.
Oh, then I'm definitely giving it to Cincy. Yeah,
but that's why the whole Damar Hamlin thing, because it happened in Cincy. All this happened here. Okay. Yeah, it was. That's the craziest thing. A lot of this stuff, it's gonna be a lot of changes. I don't know. I just think
that could take a lot out of the crowd for sure. Interesting. Well, we'll see.
And if they suit him up for the first time and they just walk him out there, people are gonna be like scared to hit him. Like, oh no.
What do you think about Cowboys Eagles?
I think the Eagles do the same exact thing they already did. I think the Eagles got something on the Cowboys. I think the kryptonite there, Dak Prescott, I don't believe in that dude at all whatsoever.
But doesn't Dak have ownage on the Eagles? You don't think it's this current Eagles? It's like older, not so talented Eagles teams?
This current Eagles team, I don't think he's got the Eagles. This new team.
I mean, not with Bayard, no.
No, and that too, but I mean, the Eagles crushed them earlier. I think it might not be as bad as it was, but
I just need somebody to knock the Eagles down because we only play them once and we're 2 games back. So, I mean, it's probably not even realistic. I'm sure we'll drop more. But the Eagles have a really rough schedule. So
they got to play the Chiefs, I think, still too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they still got some teams they got to play, but I just don't see the Cowboys doing it. It'll be one of those teams that you just don't expect to do it that'll take them down. Kind of like who beat them? Oh, my God. Who took down the Eagles? I can't think of who it was, but everybody went down in 1 week. They all lost. You guys lost to us. The Eagles lost.
Was it Minnesota? No, they beat Minnesota. Is it the Jets? It was the Jets.
There it is. See, it's going to be
the Eagles and they beat the Bills.
It'll be another game just like that. Eagles
just the one you don't expect.
Yeah,
well, just like how the Commanders almost beat them twice too. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Hey, but dude, you know what's funny is I love Sam Howell.
Shipped away both their defensive ends after that.
And I don't. It's like they just gave up. I love Sam Howell. I love Sam Howell as a quarterback. But a lot of Browns fans were like, "Hey, let's go get Brissett back." I'm not trading any draft picks for a guy we gave up and they got for free.
Yeah.
Now, if we were to go to get Scary Terry and him, cool. I give up some picks, give him DPJ, give him who the hell ever, but I'm not trading a 3rd-round pick. See, that's another thing these lunatic fans out here decided to get crazy about. Why didn't we give up all this? What? Dude, he got picked up in free agency. Why are we giving? No, hell no. You ride with DTR and PJ Walker until Deshaun comes back, and then you figure it out in the offseason where one of these guys are going to be let loose and you can get them for free. I'm not giving up a 3rd rounder for a backup quarterback.
That's funny. Sentinel Football Channel has a good stat here. Lamar is 17-1 against NFC teams. That
is crazy, isn't it?
And Jim Everett was kind enough to remind us that he's 1-0 versus the Niners. I remember that game. It was a rain game in 2019. Hell of a game. And there were some questionable calls in that game, questionable play calls, especially that 4th down call at the end where Kyle chose to run 4th and 1 out of the shotgun. And I was like, why wouldn't you go under center where there's the threat of the sneak and the threat of like the running back dive where you're going to make the D lineman go low? Instead, like shotgun, they all had their hands up and they deflected the ball. I'm like, Jesus criminy, that's just basic stuff.
That's a Pete Carroll thing.
It
It's one of
is.
those dumb moves you make on the. I don't know, man. It's a dumb call.
And I just realized that I have a 4:15 call on Thursdays. They are calling right now. So
All right, yeah, man.
a good time to say goodbye. Thank you, Mike. Good luck to your Browns.
Always, man.
Beat the Cards. And I'll just say peace and go Niners.
Later.